1 minute left in your setup period. I would like to remind observers and judges to turn off cell phones, Blackberries, and other handheld devices. Also, please note that no one may leave the room until the presentation has begun. You may now begin your presentation.
In our great nation, the agricultural industry creates 1 in 8 jobs and contributes to $100 billion worth of gross domestic product to Canada's economy. Being the world's 5th largest exporter of agricultural goods, it's hard to believe that Canada lacks appropriate agricultural recycling programs.
Prince Edward, Lennox and Addington, and Hastings counties all happen to be areas where agricultural recycling programs are non-existent.
Bale wrap is an important resource used by farmers to cover bales of hay, thus protecting it from weather, insects, and mold.
Created back in 1984 by an Australian company, plastic films have grown in popularity due to their inexpensiveness and flexible storage options before use.
Using bale wrap allows farmers to cover bales of hay and provide cattle with more nutritional and higher quality feed, saving farmers money.
With both of us, dairy or beef, is that the more nutrients we can get naturally out of the plants, the less we have to purchase. And so it's all bottom line, and it's not cheap.
We know that farmers make great use out of this bale wrap, and there is no other material that can get the same amount of value.
However, bale wrap is extremely difficult to dispose of. Not only is used bale wrap dirty, it also contains harmful chemicals. Faced with an absolute lack of a proper recycling program, farmers typically have 3 options: open burning, burial, or to transport it to private recycling locations, which cost farmers time and money.
Burning bale wrap has serious consequences to our environment due to the release of air pollutants and hazardous byproducts such as dioxins and furans.
Dioxins and furans are associated with heart disease, cognitive, and motor disabilities in humans and animals, even when exposed to very small quantities. Also, dioxins released in open burning can contaminate soil. In a study conducted by Cornell University, just 10,000 pounds of bale wrap burned leads to over 165,000 pounds of contaminated soil.
If it's burned, all that toxics in the plastic gets sent up in the air, and obviously it comes down and has a lot of huge effect.
We're farmers, we're stewards of the land. The last thing we ever want to do or plan on doing is making pollution.
If farmers are contaminating their own land, they're losing profit and the quality of their soil, which is the reason why they're using bale wrap in the first place.
So, Enactus Loyalist College has created a solution: FARM, full circle agricultural recycling management.
Our vision is to create awareness of this problem. By uniting farmers and community partners, we can create a solution that will not only benefit our environment, but our economy.
We started with a needs assessment, conducting surveys and speaking with farmers at the Farm and Plow Show. With the results from our survey, we could tell that farmers needed a recycling program for bale wrap and that they would use it frequently.
Then we started our marketing campaign for our first roundup. Talking to the Ontario Federation of Agriculture, we were able to network with many farmers in our area.
With the help of our community partners, we conducted our first roundup event. Loyalist College provided a vacant lot to facilitate the drop-off. Deerhaven Farm and Garden provided a backhoe and operator to transfer the bale wrap from the farmers' trucks to our collection bins, which were provided by Scott Environmental Group. The same company also provided us a truck and driver to transfer our collection to the disposal location, Mintech. Then, Mintech was able to start the recycling process at their facility.
From our first roundup, we were able to collect 20,000 pounds of used bale wrap. By recycling it, rather than burning it, we were able to save 330,000 pounds of soil from being contaminated.
To put that into perspective, 1 acre of farmland has an economic value of $7,155. If a farmer were to burn 20,000 pounds of bale wrap, that would be a 38.8% profit loss from the contaminated soil.
If just half of the farmers in Ontario were to lose 38.8% from one burning, that's a loss of over $72 million.
And many farmers admit to burning between 2 and 4 times per year.
This is one of those needs that, if goes unanswered, will only cause harm to our economy and our environment. But Enactus Loyalist College has answered that call.
Having standards in place, having this as a kind of how-to guide, and then we could, across the whole entire region, all the farmers would deal with this problem.
It's a huge benefit for us.
We are creating awareness of the improper disposal of bale wrap and the impact it has on our environment.
We are working with our community partners to facilitate the recycling process.
We are helping to improve our economy, ensuring the continued success of our farmers.
At Enactus Loyalist College, we are making the impossible possible.
We will begin the question and answer period for the judges. I would just like to remind the team to cover up the, there you go, perfect.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead. Okay. Great concept. I grew up in a generation of, third generation of dairy farmers. My concept to you is, although it's a great opportunity for farmers to come and bring their bale wrap, I don't know if my dad burns it or not, but I would say that sustainably, I mean, given the time of the year that they would be doing these drop-offs, it is also the time of year that's their busiest season. So how is it sustainable for farmers to bring and drop off these bale wraps per se? And how will this long-term affect or strategy work and implement for them?
Thank you, that's a good question. My name is Jeremy Meyer, I'm the project manager for Farm. And we have separated the project into 3 phases, originally with the needs assessment. The second phase was actually to do the trial roundup that we did last fall. And one of the outcomes from that was the logistics of the fact that that is very important. When we held that roundup, it was a very important time of year for the farmers as far as the work they need to do on their farms. So what we learned from that, what we took from that was the fact that instead of having one day where the farmers have to come and adhere to our schedule, we have actually spoken with the 2 farmers that were in the video there, and they're working with their community to be able to put these bins that we collect the wrap in on an acre of land out in the community in several locations, and over a 2-week period or a month period, they can come at their leisure when they feel is the required time. And our other partner, Tyler, who ran the backhoe and drove the bale wrap up to Trent Hills, Ontario, he's actually committing to being able to check that bin and take it to the recycler as soon as it's full.
So how much buy-in did you get from the various, I mean, beef and dairy? How many were on board with this?
The 20,000 pounds, believe it or not, actually only came from about 6 farms in the community. We have over 1,000 farms in the regions around us. So the initial buy-in, like I say, was sort of a trial and error. So it was, a restricted collection kind of thing, and that is, out from 6 farms, we got 20,000 pounds. It's huge.
I'm curious, is this the 3 parts? Is this the first year of your program, or how long has it been running? What's the economic? What are the economic aspects? So, in other words, do farmers have to pay to recycle, or who covers the costs of doing this? And you mentioned about transmitting chemicals in disposal. I'm wondering if chemicals get transmitted into the food just by using this stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, it contaminates everything from the soil to the water to us to their animals and everything. The dioxins and furans are in the air. So it would absolutely transfer to that, to, you know, our food. The economic aspect of it, we charge the farmers, what is it, $75 per truckload. And we recycled about 6 truckloads that went out. Now, we've offset the costs, we're not fully sustainable yet, but as I say, it's a trial and error. This is for us to learn from what is going on and be able to fix it next time. The ideal situation would be to be able to secure a reclamation process in which we can repelletize the material and resell it to a company who will actually purchase the material from us. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you.
You talked about the 7,155 per acre. Just expand on that number for me. Is that an annual number? Is that a lifetime number?
Yep. I'm Crystal Snyder. I'm the VP of Marketing. All of that information came from Stats Canada. That is the latest number that Ontario has given us for the value of land. It changes every year as they reevaluate the value of land with the economy as it is today, and then give that out to farmers as what to its worth. So for the farmers, for them, their quality, the revenue, everything like that fluctuates from year to year based on the quality and how our economy is doing. So for, as of 2012, which is the most recent stat that they have, that was the value of 1 acre of land.
How do you plan on engaging with the other farmers? So you said there's about 1,000 farms and 6 were involved in pilot. What's your kind of engagement plan for those other farmers who weren't involved?
So our role at Enactus Loyalist College is to administrate the stewardship of the communication and marketing through various events, like we held a booth at our Plowman's Farm Show, physical word of mouth, TR releases. We work with our community partners, the OFA, Ontario Federation of Agriculture, who actually have monthly meetings that we go and present at. Spreading awareness is a very solid part of this project. It's just getting the idea out there that there can be options for us.
Do you have any awareness of the impacts of the recycling itself? So you take this to a recycling center, what are the impacts on the environment through the recycling process?
So that's a good question. And what is happening right now is actually our recycler, Mintech in Trent Hills, Ontario, has bailed it. And because the material is so soiled and dirty, he's actually got it in, sitting out in his facility, drying out, while we are researching, like we're in phase 2, while we're researching for phase 3, to be able to secure a reclamation process that is viable and sustainable for